Cellular respiration is a universal process by which complex glucose molecule, or you can say carbon containing molecule, is allowed to break down in the cell of organisms in that way that it can produce maximum amount of energy. Usually one molecule of glucose will give 36 ATP molecules if it is breakdown in the presence of oxygen. This breakdown in the presence of oxygen is called as aerobic respiration, but sometimes oxygen is not present in sufficient amount to break down the glucose molecule. In that case, the cellular respiration process happened, but it happens in anaerobic condition, in which ATP is produced but in less amount. And one of the most important organelle that plays its role in the synthesis of ATP is mitochondria. It is present in the cytoplasm of both animal and plant cells, and mitochondria is also called as the powerhouse of the cell because it provides power to all cellular processes that taking place in the cell. So it is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces energy that is necessary for all cellular functions that the cell need to be performed. Now we will see that the steps of cellular respiration. The cellular respiration take place in 4 stages. The first one is glycolysis, second one is pyruvic acid oxidation, third one is Krebs cycle, and the Krebs cycle is also known as citric acid cycle. Next is respiratory chain, and the mnemonics for remembering these 4 substages is: good players often keep running. Good players, G. Glycolysis. Players, P. Pyruvic acid oxidation. Keep, Krebs cycle. Running, respiratory chain. In today's video, we will study glycolysis. It is the breakdown of glucose molecule. As the word indicates, glucose lysis means breakdown. It's the process of breakdown of glucose molecules till the formation of pyruvic acid. So glycolysis actually happens both in the absence of oxygen, as in anaerobic conditions, and as well as in aerobic conditions, like in the presence of oxygen. And the end product for both these cellular respirations, aerobic and anaerobic, is same: from glucose to pyruvate molecules. One glucose molecule produces 2 pyruvic acid molecules. And one thing to remember is the process of glycolysis, glucose breakdown, happens in cytosol. And the process of breakdown of glucose into pyruvic acid molecule is a very lengthy series of steps containing process, and each step is catalyzed by the enzyme, and all these enzymes are present in cytosol of the cell. That's why it happened in the cytosol of the cell. Next is the breakdown of glycolysis. There are 2 phases in the glycolysis, and it is preparatory phase and oxidative phase. Preparatory phase, as the name indicates, that it's a preparation phase in which cell prepare, and in this phase the glucose molecules breakdown occurs, and energy is expanded. So that's why it is called as preparatory phase. Here cell is preparing itself by taking in energy by using ATP, and so that it can produce ATP in further steps. While the second phase is oxidative phase, and it is the high energy phosphate bonds containing phase, in which phosphate bonds are formed. That's why it is called as oxidative phase, because energy is produced it in the form of ATP. And as you know, this is the complete 10 steps process. It's a lengthy and each step requires enzyme. So sometime you will forget that which enzyme is used and what is the next step. So don't worry, in this video we are going to memorize the glycolysis process using simple mnemonics without getting lost in long biochemical explanation. So let's make glycolysis easy. First, let's memorize the 10 intermediates that are formed from glucose till pyruvate. And to remember this, the mnemonics is grossy guys favors fatty birds, good boys prefer pretty girls in pink pajamas. Here the grossy guys, starting with the grossy glucose, G guys glucose 6 phosphate, and then favors, F fructose 6 phosphate, and then fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. It's fatty buds, bisphosphate, B buds, and fructose fatty. So till this is the preparatory phase, and the mnemonics for the preparatory phase is grossy guys favors fatty buds. Next, fructose 1,6 bisphosphate converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and the dihydroxyacetone phosphate will also be converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So in this step there are two molecules of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. These glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will be converted into 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate. So glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, good bisphosphoglycerate, boys, good boys. Next, 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate to 3 phosphoglycerate. Phosphoglycerate means prefer, P. Good boys prefer 2 phosphoglycerate, pretty pretty girls, PG, pretty girls. And next is phosphoenol pyruvate, pink, to pyruvate pajamas. So the mnemonics for the oxidative phase is good boys prefer pretty girls in pink pajamas. Now let's come to the point where students find even more difficult to remember, the enzyme's name. So for this the mnemonics is Helen is the name of a girl, paints pictures along the training ground. Her house is near the training ground, so she paints pictures along the training ground. Praying people enjoy paintings. So let's decode this. Helen H hexokinase. It's a first enzyme that is needed to complete first step to convert glucose into glucose 6 phosphate. Next is paints, P phosphoglucose isomerase. Pictures, phosphofructokinase along the aldolase. Training, it is the conversion enzyme triose phosphate isomerase, as DHAP dihydroxyacetone phosphate will be converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate in the presence of this enzyme. So training is for triose phosphate isomerase. And now the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is 2 molecules. Now everything that is took place here, it is the end product will be formed. For example, here pyruvate, it means 2 pyruvate molecules will be produced by 1 molecule of glucose. So next is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate dehydrogenase. Here ground glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, glyceraldehyde G ground. Then praying, next enzyme is phosphoglycerate kinase. People, phosphoglycerate mutase. Enjoy, enolase. Paintings, pyruvate kinase. So the mnemonics is Helen paints pictures along the training ground. Praying people enjoy paintings. Now let's remember ATP. 1 and 3 steps takes, 7 and 10 makes. 1 and 3 takes preparatory phase, 7 and 10 makes. As glycolysis also produce NADH, just remember this, that at the conversion step NADH is produced and it is the sixth one. So sixth produce NADH, 1 3 takes, 7 10 makes. Grossy guys favors fatty birds, good boys prefer pretty girls in pink pajamas, and for enzymes, Helen paints pictures along the training ground, praying people enjoy paintings. And if this video helped you make biology easier, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and save the video for quick revision. And remember, don't just memorize biology, make biology memorable.